Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So first things first, I hope you're having a great Labor Day weekend. I know I'm actually about to go hit the pool here in a little bit, but before I do, I really wanted to pose a question quickly. Is Joe Douglas going to be making a move, right, another roster move, before the start of the regular season? As we all know, that first game, Ravens at Jets, 1 o'clock kickoff, should be really, really exciting. But we're taking a look at the roster right now, and there's a couple positions on this team that I feel like could use a little work. They're not the deepest, tackle being one of them. Dwayne Brown, George Fant. Starting two, they're healthy, great. Behind them, Max Mitchell, rookie, right? I feel solid about Max Mitchell. I do. Year 2, year 3. But in the event that something happens to George Fant, if Dwayne Brown goes down with an injury, and look, I don't want to be that guy to talk about injuries that haven't happened, play the hypothetical game here. But at the same time, this Jets team has been absolutely decimated by injuries the past couple of seasons. And we've already seen it a little bit this year with Mekhi Becton going down for the entire season. Zach Wilson potentially missing the first game, maybe in the first 2 weeks of the season here because of injuries. So I don't think the Jets are in any sort of position to just overlook that. I think they need to make sure they turn over every stone, if you will, and look at every available option. Safety is another position that I just feel like is extremely thin. The starting lineup is fine. LaMarcus Joyner, Jordan Whitehead, I think that's a solid tandem, a solid safety duo. But if something were to happen to either one of those guys, we have Ashton Davis and Tony Adams. Now, we haven't seen Tony Adams play a true regular season snap yet, an undrafted free agent in this past class. So we don't really know what to expect from Tony. All we really have is, the preseason stuff, the training camp stuff, and of course what he did back at Illinois. But Ashton Davis, we're looking at him, he made the roster over guys like Jason Pinnock and Will Parks. Is it the end of the world? No. We are talking about backups here. But again, if something were to happen, what's the plan? Do the Jets, does Robert Saleh, does Jeff Ulbrich feel comfortable with the backup safety position? Is this Jets organization looking at this 53-man roster saying, you know what, we're done, we're good? Or did they recently free up this cap space, $11.9 million in a CJ Mosley restructure, because they had their eye on somebody? Maybe if somebody does get hurt, then they'll pounce on, a possible acquisition. What's the plan going to be? Now, here's my list of players that I feel like would fit this Jets team, right? If they want to add some depth, if they want to add some veteran leadership. I don't really envision any one of these guys asking for a really big contract or anything like that. Let's go down the list quickly. At tackle, we got Eric Fisher, Darrell Williams, Nate Solder, and Brandon Shell. All four of those guys are still out there. They're still looking for teams. Are these guys elite? No, they're not. They're not top 5. They're not top 10 at their position. Not in the least. These guys aren't elite prospects, but at the same time, I do feel like every one of those players brings something unique and valuable to this Jets team. I mean, quickly going down the list, Darrell Williams is coming over from Buffalo. Not only does he just know that team, know their systems, but he's experienced a lot of winning. Same could be said with Eric Fisher. He's been in a ton of critical situations with the Kansas City Chiefs his entire career. He knows a thing or two about dealing with pressure, being the first overall pick. Brandon Shell used to be a Jet, spent some time with Seattle, started a bunch of games, has a lot of experience under his belt. Nate Solder is another guy. At one point in time, he was a hot commodity. The New York Giants paid him a mega deal. Unfortunately for them, they whiffed. Didn't work out. But there's a reason why Solder got that amount of money, because of his previous performance, right, with the New England Patriots. If I had to rank them, I would probably put Solder as tackle number 4 for me. But with that said, would Nate Solder be the 4th best tackle on this football team? I would say so. I would say so. Again, looking at this position from a depth standpoint, how deep do we run at specific positions? How thin are we? I think tackle is really, really thin. One injury could derail the season. I don't want to be in a position again with Mekhi Becton where he goes down. Now the Jets are frantically searching for an option for a starter, and now they're handing out a 2-year, $20-something million deal to somebody else, who's on the free agency market. We could have possibly had him a little cheaper if the move happened beforehand, whatever the case is. At safety, we got guys like Jaquiski Tart, who was recently released from the Philadelphia Eagles, and then Tayshaun Gibson. Gibson has had a ton of success in numerous defensive schemes with, tons of different teams, Jacksonville, Chicago, Cleveland. Gibson has been all over the map, and he's always had, not always had, but, he's strung along some really solid seasons. Again, is he a top 3 safety in football? No, but as a backup role for not a lot of money, I wouldn't be opposed for the Jets to bring him in, right? I envision Gibson being an upgrade over Ashton Davis, and of course, again, with Adams, we don't really know what he looks like, but I think I would feel a little bit more comfortable at the safety position if the team goes out and brings in a Gibson or a Jaquiski Tart. And with Tart, everybody knows his relationship with Robert Saleh, so many years in that defense, a lot of years of production. As a solid player, injuries kind of derailed his career, and unfortunately, that's why he was never able to cash in with that big deal. But, we're looking at guys on the open market. There are options. There's options out there that could come in and benefit this football team. And again, I keep harping on it, but it's not like the Jets are going to have to be paying these guys $15 million. Jaquiski Tart, you could probably get him for the veteran minimum. $1 million? Like, I really don't think it's that big of a deal considering the CJ Mosley move. We look at a possible trade. Chuck Clark, his name has been bouncing around with Baltimore, requested a trade. Obviously, they added Marcus Williams. They drafted Kyle Hamilton. They have one of the best defensive back rooms in all of football. Definitely one of my favorites. There's only so many snaps to go around here. There's only 2 starting safeties. Chuck Clark could very well be traded before the start of the regular season. Now, I think that one's a little interesting because the Jets play Baltimore week 1. So if you are the Ravens, maybe you're thinking, hey, you know what? If the Jets are calling about Clark, let's trade him after we play. That way we don't trade him and he just gives away all of our secrets and the game plan and everything like that. Gives the Jets coaching staff the X's and O's on how we do things here in Baltimore. So that one's a little interesting, but the point of this is that there's options out there. The Jets have enough money to add talent to this 53-man roster. I remember when the 53-man roster dropped initially, there was a ton of speculation. Everything that we saw, everything that we heard was that, hey, this is not the final 53. Things are subject to change. We're probably going to see some roster moves. We haven't seen anything. Okay, of course we get the practice squad, that whole thing figured out, but as far as the official 53-man roster, the Jets haven't brought in another free agent. They haven't traded for a guy. So we'll see how it plays out, but let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Do you think the Jets and Joe Douglas specifically are going to pull off a move to acquire a player or two before the start of the regular season? Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Again, enjoy your Labor Day. And as always, go Jets.